I was 18 and on my way to a small 2-year college in Sitka, Alaska. On September 3rd, I was at the Anchorage airport waiting to get onto a flight that would take me to Sitka. As I waited for everyone to board the plane, I noticed that there were only 2 of us left in the waiting area. I was a student standby and he was a military standby. After 10 minutes or so, the military standby got on the plane, and I was left alone. I finally got out the receipt of where I'd been staying at the hotel, thinking that I needed to go and make a call to them to come and get me. And I waited a few more minutes. I thought, oh well, if I didn't get on the plane today, I will just get on tomorrow's flight. I figured I would go back to my hotel room in Anchorage and finish reading this Northwoods adventure book that I was halfway through. So I continued to wait, but it was kind of strange being all alone in the waiting area with nobody around, not even a stewardess, no ticket agent, nothing. I was just kind of left alone. And so with kind of a somewhat heavy heart, after waiting for another 10 to 15 minutes, which is actually a long time, I got up and I started walking away from the boarding area to go out into the concourse there and find a payphone. They had payphones back in the 70s. Okay, suddenly I heard a lady's voice behind me call, Miss, we found a seat for you. I quickly followed that stewardess and got onto that plane, just relieved. It was just a buzz with people. And I sat down between a girl my age and a young Native Alaskan man on the other side. The flight, though, was kind of rough, and the plane shook a lot. I just remember a lot of shaking, but I gratefully accepted a hot cup of sweet and spiced tea as the stewardess pushed this Russian samovar up and down the aisles of Alaska Airlines. I remember holding on to it so that it wouldn't spill. Well, during the flight, the girl next to me got airsick, and I actually wished I was sitting in another row. I wondered if she was going to be my roommate in Sitka. There were actually quite a few young people on the plane, and one of those people would actually become my future husband. He says he remembers seeing me that day. I was kind of dressed like an East Coast hippie chick. I had long, kinky, bushy hair, a leather coat, bell bottoms, leather moccasins, and leather jewelry. Anyways, we landed in Mount Edgecombe, and then we waited to get on the ferry that would take us over to Sitka. And of course, today in Sitka, there's a beautiful bridge. You can drive over to Mount Edgecombe and back. But anyways, we had to take a ferry. It was kind of exciting. There was no cars allowed, only people. So I got settled into my room in Sitka and got ready to explore the town the next day. I really felt like I was on an adventure. So I got up in the morning, September 4th, and I finished checking in and doing some business, and I went to downtown Main Street in Sitka to find the Russian Orthodox Church. There was a lady there named Madame Zarskaya that the college had hired special for me to tutor me in my 3rd year of the Russian language, which I had been studying. As I walked back to the quaint and homey campus in Sitka, I noticed there were students just huddled together. Some were crying openly. There seemed to be a huge sadness everywhere on the campus. Someone at the school came up to me and said, "Oh, your dad's been calling you. He's been calling you. He wonders if you're here." And I'm saying, "Well, yeah." But that's when I learned a very tragic plane crash had just happened. The Alaska Airlines flight 1866 had just crashed into a mountain near Juneau. September 4th, 1971. All 111, some say 113, passengers and crew died instantly. It was a very tragic thing. And among them, there were 13 students who were supposed to be coming to the school, as well as some teachers and aides that were all lost. I was totally shaken to the core of my being. I had a great fear come upon me, and a great awe. All I could think of was, I had been the last passenger to get onto that flight the day before. I had almost missed that plane by walking away. I would have gone the next day, and I would not be here. I don't know where I'd be, but it wouldn't be probably a good place. But time seemed to stand still for me, and I wondered how and why. Did God know about me? Did he even care about me? And what about all the people that perished on that plane crash? What happened? Surely, who was I to still be alive? I wanted to get alone somewhere and sort through all these thoughts and find some answers. I was really, truly on a quest. The next day I went inside of a small Episcopal church because that's where my family had gone growing up, off and on, and I knelt down. I was searching for peace. I tried to cry and pray out, but I did not find peace at that time. I left still with a heavy heart. I kept thinking about all the times that I had already been spared from certain deaths several times in the past. And in fact, 3 years earlier, I actually went to the funeral of 2 young men that I had been friends with. They had had too much to drink, and on the winding roads in Maine, they had been going too fast and crashed into a telephone pole and died. I wondered if there were angels. I wondered if somebody was watching over me. And I wondered, was someone somewhere actually praying for me? I had a grandmother, and though she didn't ever preach or teach to me, she did actually say she was praying for me. So that's awesome. So now I'm going to fast forward. I'm going to fast forward to the late 90s. I had been having bouts of pain in my lower right side off and on for several months. I had my husband and family pray for me. By this time, I had found peace. And his name was Jesus. His name is Jesus. I found out that he loved me so much and that he is a prayer answering God. In late January year 2000, I had strong pain in my lower right side. But after a couple days, the pain went away. A dear friend came out to see me and she prayed for me. She was sure that my appendix had been bothering me. Well, I stayed home for 2 more days, but I had no appetite and I began to get sicker. And I had a low-grade fever, no appetite, and I actually was quite lethargic. My husband said, you need to go into the clinic and see what's going on. So we went into the clinic and they checked me and they said, we don't know what's going on, but you better get up to Anchorage. So we flew to Anchorage that day at noontime, and after waiting in the emergency room for over 3 hours, it was incredible. I was just waiting in the emergency room. There are all kinds of things and people and kids, and I just felt enveloped in this incredible cloud of peace. I wasn't fearful. I wasn't upset, but I was looking to the Lord and praying. So